welcome back. In my video number 4, I told you that I did not want to linger for too long on the subject of Selfzone for the time being, but I would come back to that subject later on. Because I wanted you to first get some relief by going to the circle of apologies and assigning those other people of indiscretion to different zones in your orbit first, rather than early on evoking feelings of guilt in you for your own indiscretions of the past. But I believe that by now you have become more prepared to easily handle that subject. Anyhow, I like to tell you about this couple I used to know. He was a highly successful CEO. He and his wife owned a big house in one of Dallas's most expensive neighborhoods. One time I was visiting them. A few days before my visit, someone in a country on the other side of the world had said something obnoxious about a third country that the wife strongly identified with. That statement had made her to be beside herself to the point that she almost was having a heart attack. I told her, "Lady, you spend at least $100,000 on those 2 massive iron gates around your property that you always keep shut so no one can come in and pick a flower out of your garden. Then how come the gates to your emotions are so wide open that if someone 5,000 miles away says something insulting about a third country, it would make you so incredibly unhinged?" The truth is that if we do not have a solid and strong self-zone filled with high self-esteem and self-confidence, the gates to our emotions will always be wide open to anyone, friend or foe, to reach out even from across the world and wound our feelings. And no amount of success, wealth, power, or fame will be able to protect us from that happening to us. If we do not have a well-protected and well-maintained self-zone, we will not be able to keep our happiness, we will not be able to keep our good relationships, and we will not be able to keep our money, our wealth, and our prosperity. In fact, for that matter, we will not be able to keep our privacy or the secrets that of ours and others that we may be trusted with either. Instead, in time, we will let them all go, because we are always an open house for anyone to walk in and take all they want and walk out. Plus, if we do not have that well-defended and well-reinforced self-zone, others will easily be able to assess our standing, detect our weakness, and be able to subjugate and dominate us. Add to it that particularly these days, the advertising campaigns and the social media, knowing that for most of us the gate to our self-zone are wide open, can easily engage and manipulate us and constantly command us to reinvent ourselves in the way that fits their dictated ideals. Because that way they can force us to bend to their will and oblige us to their orders and subsequently make us behave in their instructed way, even if it is against our will. Because having no protection around our self-zone, we are easily subject to their persuasions, because that way they can enjoy profiting mightily in their business of building a false self-image for us at the cost of our loss and suffrage. But if we want to be less subject to their dictates, as well as to the influences and dictates of others around us who stand to benefit at our expense, we must learn how to construct those big iron gates around the territory of our self-zone. But to do so, first and foremost, we must start cleaning and cleansing our own inner house, or rather our inner zone, at the quiet of our circle of apologies. It is an undeniable fact that the very foundation of our happiness and our success is built on a solid structure located at the core of our self zone. It is a hefty self zone that can serve as a reinforced concrete platform and a mighty jumping board for building all of our future success in all aspects of our life. Otherwise, we will always be subject to the winds of life that can habitually turn into devastating storms for us. However, once we are fully empowered in the domain of our mind and in the territory of our self zone, no one can ever shake our will or wound our feelings. It is here in our self zone that we can make ourselves solid and strong. And when we have succeeded in building that strong self zone, it will always be there to rescue us from wandering off or from falling off. There's a moving passage in the novel Catcher of the Rye by the great Jerome Salinger that reads, "What I have to do, I have to catch everybody if they start going over the cliff. I mean, if they are running and they don't look where they are going." When you arrive at that solidified self zone, that strong grown up you will always be there to catch if that little child you starts falling. Or to draw a parallel with Puccini's great opera Turandot, which is supposed to have been inspired by the story of a Persian princess named Turandot, or daughter of King of Turan. If you solve the riddle of your own low self-esteem, no longer anyone, neither inside of you nor outside of you, will end up having to die every morning despite the sleepless nights, for you will always be victorious at dawn. As I said before, we must build that fortress inside of us before we can build that edifice outside of us. So in order to arrive there, I like for you to pick up that list that you prepared before about the occasions that you said things or did things that now you are not too proud of. As usual, please relax your body, calm your mind, close your eyes, and step into the circle of apologies. Go ahead and take a seat at your comfortable high chair in front of that big, well-lit window. But rather than putting those previous odors of indiscretion, start putting some of that use of your past in those windows. Arrange those use of your past in the order of their light indiscretions, followed by the ones with those of more involved dossier. One by one, ask your use of the past to step into the main window. Ask them to describe those particular events and explain in detail all the circumstances as well as all the root causes that forced that you of the past to say or do what was said and done. Listen carefully, then take a good while to think about that use explanations and try your absolute best to understand the reasons that caused those words to be said or those actions to be taken. I ask you that in this zone, please exhibit your most understanding and forgiving. Please remember that we all are fallible. Plus, every day we all go through this life learning and growing to become a better human being for our tomorrow. In fact, the minute we are born, the process of lifetime learning starts through trials and errors. We fall and stand up numerous times before we learn how to walk and how to talk. In fact, our learning by trial and error never stops as long as we have the great gift of our life, because that is the only way we continue to grow into that better us. Please consider that those yous that said or did embarrassing things were yous of the past. That you of your past is no longer the you of your present. It is extremely important that you give yourself all the considerations before moving on to the next event. Come back to this zone multiple times and work on it again and again. Meanwhile, always continue to visit your healing zone and continue the practice of uttering those enriching words which will help you in this process. I know this exercise may be painful, but they say that the most painful period of our life is when we are coming through the birth canal, where we are squeezed in all directions. But since there is no consciousness yet, we do not feel or remember that event. Therefore, if you want to be born into a new life, you must have the courage to accept the pain of coming through the birth canal of your memories. Now, once you have gone through at least 5 or 6 reenactment of those events of your use of the past, I ask you to return to the circle of apologies. However, this time, when you put any one of the yous of your past in the main window, I want the you of your present to also appear alongside that you of the past. Also, when that you of the present appear at the window, I want the inside of that main window to magically transform into your heavenly healing zone. Now I want you to compare the two yous of your past and of your present and notice how far you have come to be the improved you that you have become now. I really want you to vividly see that incredible progress you have made. At the end of each of these sessions, I want you to take another page of that post-it note, write down the great degree of your progress that you just noticed, and attach it to the mirror of excellence to be read out loud every time you are in front of that mirror at the bathroom. In fact, from time to time, as you continue to practice exercise, I want you to put only the you of your present in that big, well-lit window and proceed to deeply admire that wonderful you that you have become. Please note that here I'm not asking you to reinvent yourself, but rather to rediscover yourself and get to know that new and improved, wondrous you. In doing so, I am asking you to not only extend all the understanding toward that you of your past, that in a way still is that little girl or that little boy inside you, but also please forgive her or him for the child that he or she used to be, and congratulate him or her for growing up to be such a wonderful new you. Please never forget that this is a short life. Too long of a time has passed for you, and it is high time now for you to open the gates to that prison of self-condemnation and let yourself finally walk free. You know, even people who have committed crimes and are condemned to serving time in prison eventually are declared free to go. You have served your time. Please open the doors of the freedom to that innocent you that has been a captive for so long, and let her or him walk free. Now walk to your heavenly healing zone and start a grand celebration. This indeed is a very festive occasion because you now are truly a complete being in every aspect of your new happy life. Now the vibration from your beautiful thoughts and the echoes of your mesmerizing voice will reverberate and spread throughout this universe and reach all of us to let us feel healed and free too. Because maybe you did not know, but we all were connected to you for all this time, and we all were there for you for all this time. Now we all can bask in the warm benevolence of your happy existence. Now you are solid, strong, and well protected. Now storms can come, but they will pass without shaking you. Now fires can rage without scorching you. Now hordes can attack, but never be able to reach even near you. Now you're solid and strong. Now you're complete. Now, in that magnificent temple of your self zone, that single flicker that you have ignited has become a torch that lights up your life and the life of all of us near and far from you. In conclusion, I like to read a poem which has been attributed to the Persian Sufi mystic poet Hafez. I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. So may the wonder and the wonderful always be with you to the eternity. Goodbye, good life, and see you soon. If you practice happiness, soon it will become a habit. If you practice kindness, soon that will become a habit too. And if you practice beauty, you will become beautiful forever.